Now, Times Now has managed to access another video that shows night operations on the part of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, in which terror infrastructure belonging to Hamas's Jenin Brigade was successfully destroyed. So let's in fact take you through some of these visuals. Of course, the visuals are a bit hazy, but these are night operations being undertaken on the part of the IDF. Now, these operations have to be undertaken with a fair amount of precision, and therefore it would require a significant amount of planning before it's actually executed on the ground, because these operations, of course, are taking place at night, where visibility is, of course, a challenge, and also when you're making incursions into urban areas like Israel's defense forces are, it makes it all the more challenging to distinguish between who's a Hamas terror operative and who's a civilian. So therefore, the precision with which these attacks and these incursions are carried out is that much more significant. Let me in fact go across to Pradeep Datta for more on this. Pradeep, one of the challenges, of course, of the operations that Israel has been undertaking is that of urban warfare. Now, of course, once they enter into Gaza, once they start entering urban areas, they will have to basically deal with a strong civilian population that is inhabiting those areas, and therefore distinguishing between who's a civilian and who's a Hamas terrorist becomes that much more challenging. How is Israel trying to address this particular concern?
Yes, Siddharth, you're absolutely right, because at a time when you can see your enemies just operating from civilian areas, it gets very difficult to identify between a civilian and a terrorist, and they are using the civilian infrastructure, they are using those mosques, they are using hospitals, they are using schools, they are using units of vehicle to move from one place to another place. That's one of the reasons that's really worrying, and from time to time we have seen that Israel had been giving ultimatum to the people there in Palestine, asking them to move from that area. But what's happening is that the Palestinian Hamas terrorists, they are not allowing the people to move out because they want them to be used as human shield, because they know that more and more blood of the civilian will be spilled. It's going to build a pressure on the international community, and they will also be able to raise UN tribe, where they will be trying to project before the world, see how Israel is playing a role of an oppressor, trying to target their innocent unarmed non-combatants, because that way they will be able to justify their act, what they did on October 7th, though that can't be justified because the way they resorted to savagery and butchery. No one can ever justify that act, because they decapitated bodies, they almost beheaded many people, abused bodies, burnt them alive, they did not spare women and children. But so far as this urban warfare is concerned, the biggest three challenges are: one, there is an underground network of tunnels from where the Hamas terrorists are operating. The second reason is that it is the congested area. It's one of the most densely populated area in the world, where movement of the armored chariots and the vehicle and armored vehicles and tanks will not be that easy. Then third thing is that already many of the buildings have been
that's the biggest challenge that the Israeli forces will face, because Hamas is so deeply embedded in civilian areas. We'll see how the land invasion now progresses. Many thanks for your comprehensive updates, and we urge you to stay safe.